Some cryptocurrency businesses and exchanges are being sued by the Securities and Exchange Commission, but companies in the field are starting to fight back with their own lawsuits. One of the most important points these companies have made is that the regulatory situation is not clear. They are now asking for a longer conversation because of this. They believe that because of the Ripple case and other recent changes in the law, they should be given a clearer set of rules instead of having to endure ongoing court challenges. Thought Crypto was the title of a show I was listening to when someone asked if Tesla had had any experiences similar to those in other fields. Tesla said that the situation is very unusual. It's strange that the SEC has split off from the blockchain and financial technology companies, since they have been the target of many enforcement actions. These processes have been mainly aimed at areas that haven't had clear rules or guidelines from regulators. Thus, many people in the sector have taken legal action by repeatedly filing lawsuits against the Securities and Exchange Commission, including moves brought by the SEC. Cases like Ripple that were found to be similar were also because of Judge Torres' recent ruling that XRP is not a security in and of itself. In the secondary market, deals that involve securities are not seen as deals that involve XRP. As they talked, the interviewer brought up the fact that her company, along with the Digital Chamber of Commerce, had previously filed an amicus brief in support of Ripple on the subject of cryptocurrencies. In answer to a question that was very similar to the one that was asked, she said that the tokens themselves might not be stocks. Just because of this, judges are beginning to agree with this point of view in a number of current cases. Since Binance has recently been in trouble with governments around the world, it will be interesting to see how this situation develops since the company plans to put a lot of money into making sure they follow the rules. Bance Holdings wants to hire a total of 1,000 people this year, and a lot of those jobs will be focused on following rules and regulations. Ripple will have to pay more money to defend itself in the SEC case, and the company plans to spend a lot more than that. Following the rules set by regulators will be Binance's top concern. During the interview, Binance CEO Richard Tang said that legal compliance and the exchange's plans for hiring this year were talked about. Bloomberg was the one who did the interview. He agreed that government organizations are very important to the process, which is something I have always done. Because the Department of Justice and the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network of the U.S. Treasury are keeping an eye on a company's compliance, its costs are going up. As part of the earlier plea deal with US authorities, including the Department of Justice, the defendant had to pay a $4 billion fine for breaking rules about money laundering and take care of other compliance issues. Monitoring firms Sullivan Cromwell and Vinnick Risk Alliance were hired by U.S. government agencies to do their job. Since they started, the money spent on compliance has gone from $158 million years ago to more than $200 million. In relation to Richard Tang, it is expected that the costs will keep going up. Before, it was thought that Binance would spend a lot more on compliance than Ripple Laboratories would on net costs in their case against the SEC. Chief Executive Officer Brad Garlinghouse said that the company had spent $200 million fighting the SEC's case over the sale of XRP to institutions, which was against the rules for securities. The company was told by the court that it had to pay a sum of $125 million. Then, blockchain companies have spent billions of dollars making sure they follow the rules and settle with officials. Unfortunately, this is a big loss for a sector that is already under a lot of stress because there aren't enough rules. By following the rules and getting more information from the authorities, Bitcoin is quickly becoming one of the most talked about issues in the US presidential election. Shortly after Chizu quit as CEO of Binance for not paying his employees, there were signs of hope in the Bitcoin job market. By the time 2024 comes around, the company plans to have 700 people working in safety. Richard Tang has been working with prime brokers to make it harder for new cryptocurrencies to be listed and to separate Binance Labs, the venture capital firm that the company runs. The compliance job team has also said that they will keep fighting against the charges in the report that the Attractive made. A lot of Bitcoin companies, including Tether, have recently said they want to hire more people. Because of what happened next, a court has agreed to hear most of the claims made against Binance's co-founder. Because the company wants to do more, it may be a sign that the market is starting to recover. People from a wide range of fields will be speaking at the next Ripple Swell 2024 event, such as blockchain technology, banking, payments, and more. Some of the most famous people in the business will be giving talks at this year's event, which will be held in Miami. There will be a lot of important people in the blockchain at Ripple Swell 2024, and we're excited to share the list of speakers. People who are waiting will be taking part in the event. We can't wait to hear what Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse has to say about the recent steps the company took in response to the SEC case, the success of the Ripple Alon stable currency, and the company's plans for the future. Garlinghouse has been at the forefront of Ripple's efforts to change the way international payments are made using blockchain technology. In August, one of the most important steps forward in the ongoing dispute between Ripple and the Securities and Exchange Commission was reached. Along with lowering the SEC's claim by more than 94%, Judge Torres told Ripple it had to pay a civil fine of $125 million. A peace deal that went on for more than 4 years has finally come to an end. There was a statement from the CEO of Ripple that said the decision was a win for the company, the industry, and the law. He also said that the CC's bad feelings about the whole XRP community have lessened at the event, which will include big names in the industry like Ripple and the USD stable currency that has successfully launched in private test on both the XRP ledger and the Ethereum in it. Ripple said that the chief security officer of Coinbase would be giving a talk. Other big names in the field will also be at the event. One option is that Philip Martin will give a speech at the next Ripple Swell event. A lot of people have met Sheila Bair, who was the head of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation and the original chair of the Systemic Risk Council. She will be at the event. Sheila Bair will make the event better. There's no question that her many years of experience as head of the FDIC will be helpful. Another guest who will be there is Adrian Harris, who is in charge of the New York Department of Financial Services. You should not take the information on this website as trade advice, and we are not responsible for any investments that are made based on the information on this website. If you want to make smart financial decisions, you should first do your research and then talk to an expert.